Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Huck. Today I'm doing kind of a spontaneous video because I just heard about the ReReadathon that is going on this week. It is starting today, March 18th. Is it the 18th? Yes, Sunday, March 18th. I just heard about it like last night, so it's kind of spontaneous, but I decided to do it because I love rereading books. So this is a week-long readathon that is all about rereading books, because sometimes we get so focused on reading the new books that we forget to revisit the old favorites, and I love rereading books. So I thought I would do this one. As I said, it is a full week, so hopefully this video is going up on Sunday, if not Monday. But if you're like just seeing it, you can still like participate for the rest of the week. I will leave links to more information about this down below. They are doing different challenges, and there are also giveaways throughout the week on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, I think. So those will be fun to participate in. So I wanted to let you know what my TBR is for this challenge. It's kind of a loose TBR because it's sort of what I'm expecting to read or options that I have, and then I'll sort of mood read my way through this TBR. The first book that I have is actually like maybe cheating a little bit because I'm already reading it and I'm almost done, but it is a reread and I will be finishing it today or tomorrow. So the first like day or two of the readathon will be finishing rereading this, which is Seer of Seven Waters by Juliet Marillier. This is the 5th book in her Seven Waters series. This one follows Sybil, who is destined to be a druid, but before she can be inducted into the Order of Druids, her teacher wants her to kind of have a vacation and a time to reflect on whether this is the real life that she wants, or if she wants a life more similar to the one that her sisters lead, where they get married and have children and all of that kind of thing. So she goes and visits her sisters on an island. There is a shipwreck. There's a shipwreck while she is there, and then that starts a whole new adventure. So this one, I am already pretty far into it. I'm on page 324. So I only have, I only have like this little bit left. So this one will be finished pretty quickly, but it is a reread, so I thought I would include it. So this may like kind of be cheating because, as I said, I'm like almost done with it. But I will be counting this towards the readathon challenge to reread an old favorite. Next on my list for the challenge to reread a recent favorite, I have Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This is one that I read last January. I think I read this in January 2017, and I really loved it. It was a very fun book. I love the like nature magic vibes from it. So I thought that this would be a fun one to reread. I remember it also being a very quick read, so it won't bog me down too much in the readathon, which I wanted. And it is, you know, I don't know if it's like a favorite ever, but it is a pretty recent favorite that I really loved to read, so I will be including this one. The next challenge is to reread a book to give it a second chance, and for that I have Hood by Stephen Lawhead. So this is one that is a Robin Hood retelling. I really like Robin Hood stories, and that's why I read this the first time, but when I read it I did not really like it. However, I read it a really long time ago, so it's very possible that I was like maybe too young to read it and I just like couldn't get into it. However, I don't have high expectations. I want to give it another try and see if I like it. If I do, great, but if I don't, I'm going to DNF it pretty quickly because I know I've already read it and didn't like it. So if it doesn't get me pretty soon, I'm just gonna let it go. So this is one that I will be giving another try, but I'm not really expecting to finish. The last challenge is to reread a book in anticipation of a new release, and I actually don't have any books to reread in anticipation for a new release, so I'm not going to be doing that challenge, but I have a couple of other books. I'm not thinking I'm gonna get through like a ton of books, but in case I did, I like to give myself options. So these ones are not necessarily ones that I'm like definitely gonna read, but these are the books that I will be choosing between for my next book to reread if I do end up needing another book. So the first book that I have is The Secret of Platform 13. This is like a middle grade I don't know, is it even middle grade? It's a pretty young kids book. I read this, or I listened to the audiobook of this when I was pretty young, and I liked it a lot. I don't remember a lot about it. Remember there's a magical train platform at a train station, and that's about it. I think maybe there's like a door that leads to a magical world. I don't really know. I just got this book and it is very short, and also it has like huge type because it is for kids. So I wanted to reread this because it was a old favorite as a kid. Then another option that I have is The Fairy Godmother by Mercedes Lackey. This is one that I wanted to reread this year anyway. This is a fairy tale style book. It takes place in a world where there is an interesting magic system that is called the Tradition. It's not exactly a system, it's more just kind of like a world, like ambient magic, where if your life in any way starts to resemble a fairy tale, the Tradition starts to try and force your life to follow that fairy tale exactly. And then fairy godmothers are these people who have magic who are able to kind of save people from the fate of having to reenact these fairy tale lives. So this first one starts out as a Cinderella retelling, and then the main character becomes a fairy godmother. And this is one that I really loved when I was younger. It's kind of a light, fluffy fairy tale read, so I think that it'll be pretty quick to get through if I do want to have another book to read, but I wanted to reread it and see if I still like it now. And then my last option is another one that's kind of like quick and fluffy, but I did want to reread, which is The Charmed Sphere by Catherine Azzaro. So this one is a little more on the romancy side. Like most of these books have romances in them, but this one is borderline, like it may actually just be a romance book. I'm not totally sure. But it takes place in a world where there is a kind of magic system that uses colors and shapes to determine what kind of magic you are doing and the strength of magic. So red is the weakest magic, and then purple is the strongest magic, and then the more sides of a shape that you're able to use, the stronger you are. You use geometric shapes to focus your magic. We follow a princess who has an arranged marriage, and of course she doesn't want to marry this person because she doesn't even know him. And then it's one of those situations where she like meets him when she doesn't expect to. She's like out for a walk or on an adventure or something, and she meets him and falls for him, and then finds out that this is the person that she was resisting marrying to begin with. So this one is kind of tropey and romancy and very fluffy, but I do remember enjoying it and I wanted to give it another try. So those are all the books that I have as options to read. As I said, I am not planning to get through all of those books. I'm thinking that I will definitely finish Seer of Seven Waters. I'll probably get through maybe 2 more books after that. But those were the options that I have for this readathon. And if you want to participate in the readathon as well, as I said, I will leave the links down below. Let me know if you are participating and what your TBR is for the readathon and what challenges you're participating in. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, bye!